Hello everyone and welcome to my very first planner video. My name is Dee and this is NB Planning. The reason it's called NB Planning is because I am non-binary, which means that I'm neither a woman nor a man. I know I sound pretty female, but don't let that fool you. I am neither. I'm non-binary or NB. And I've noticed that there aren't really any other popular planner channels or Instagrammers who are non-binary or even male, and I totally understand why. The audience is 99.9% women, so I'm not upset about it. It's a truth that I've come to realize. So welcome to NB Planning. What you're going to be seeing on my channel is some actual planning. I have a very bad memory, so when I set up my weeks, I need to basically itemize everything I'm gonna do right down to feeding the cats. You're gonna see cheap planning. I am very cheap. I have a few Mambi supplies. Most of them I got from a giveaway, so I didn't even have to pay for them. And otherwise I make a lot of my own inserts, and I use a lot of different supplies from the dollar store and from the cheaper racks at Michael's. You are going to see one planner. That's this one. I've tried using multiple planners for multiple things, and I can't keep up with them. I don't use them, and yeah, I need to have everything in one place. What you are not going to see on this channel is gendered language. Like I said, I'm non-binary, so a lot of planner communities are focused towards planner babes, planner girls, even the Mambi products. There's a lot of you go girl, that kind of thing, and while I totally understand why that's the case, it just doesn't apply to me, so you're probably not going to see a whole lot of it. You're also not going to see any budget planning or meal planning, and that's for the simple reason that I do not do that. My wife handles those things because she's better at them than I am, and that's how marriage works. You kind of play to your strengths. Alright, so let's get started with today's video. We are going to be setting up my mini happy planner. The reason we're setting it up in May is because for the last 7 or 8 months I've been using a classic size happy planner, which I love. I love this guy. It's so big. I love doing all my weekly spreads. I love decorating it, but it's big. So I've been finding that I haven't been using it because I haven't been wanting to haul it around with me. So I'm going to be moving into a mini happy planner and chunking it up a little bit. So this is what we're going to be using today. This is an undated mini. I got it in a giveaway, but I believe it's the one that you can get at Staples or Michael's, kind of the most basic. I have some expander rings from the Happy Planner. I have the Rainbow Mambi sticker book. And then for next week's plan with me, we're going to be using this sticker book, So Far So Good, which came from Michael's, and it was $1.50. So yeah, again, cheaping. Over here we've got all the inserts and everything that we're going to be using to chunk up the mini. So let us go ahead and get started setting this up. So first thing we're going to do is open up these rings. I know that the expander rings are quite large and I'm probably not going to need this much space right away, but I do tend to do a lot of ephemera, add inserts, that kind of thing, so I'm anticipating that we are going to have quite a large mini by the time we're done. Now this mini, I originally set it up, you can see that I have tabs going back to January. I originally set it up as a memory planner, but again, I found that I wasn't keeping up with it, so that kind of fell by the wayside. Alright, so I'm not going to be moving the January, February, March, April monthlies over into the new one. I don't really see any point, especially because I'm going to be adding a bunch of stuff to it later. So let's just get these rings. Maybe I will see if I can figure out how to do that fast forwardy time thing that I see in a lot of videos. So this is my first video. If you would like to see more videos from me, please let me know in the comments, or subscribe. Subscribing would be fantastic. Because right now I have 0 subscribers because that is how these things work. Oh my god, these rings are so big. I love them. Okay. So being a non-binary person who presents female all of the time, it can be difficult. Especially in a planner community where most of the people are women, it's kind of easier to just pretend to be a woman and go along with it. But that's not who I am. So I'm happy that on this channel I'm going to get a chance to not do that. Alright, so I just moved over the first couple of pages. Now we're going to flip over to the May monthly in this one. Alright, as you can see, I've already started planning out a few things. I don't do a whole lot of decoration. I find that in weeks where I do a ton of decoration, I just don't use my planner at all, which is not the point of a planner, especially for me and my admittedly terrible memory. So I do a little bit of decoration. I wouldn't call it minimal because I do like decoration for decoration's sake, but it's just a little bit of decoration for decoration's sake. Alright, so we've got, and I really do like this planner because it's very motivational. I can't wait until next year when I can shop a little bit more, because I did get this one for free from a giveaway, so it's not like I chose it. And seeing the different styles of planner that everybody has is fantastic. I really love, there's one I saw on At Home with Kita that was a hand-drawn, and it was absolutely, no, it wasn't At Home with Kita, it was, I was looking at Chunky Mini Setups, and it was absolutely gorgeous. But At Home with Kita is one of the planner channels that I follow quite a lot. Let me just refocus us here in the frame. You can do anything, but not everything. I like that. Okay. All right, we're almost there. Don't know what I'm going to do with these white rings when I'm done with them. Probably keep them around to make a sticker book or something like that. Okay, so here we go. There is December, and as you can see, I have a few extra weekly inserts. I'm just going to toss this in with my, I keep a set of overflow inserts and discs and things like that. Okay. So that's the monthly, the monthlies and the weeklies. We're gonna have to fill that out. All right, I used to use a bullet journal. So a lot of my planning style is still bullet journal-esque. So first thing in this new book, we're going to throw in a couple of those bullet journal type inserts. The first one I have is my TV tracker. So this is a really simple, so I had this in my classic. It's really basic. I did up this this format in Excel and then printed it off, and then I just shrunk it for the mini, so it turned out quite tiny actually. Let me see if I can get that up a little bit closer. So you'll see I just have the name of this show, what season I'm on, and then the boxes for each episode, and then I fill in the boxes as I watch them. You can see Ghost Adventures. I love Ghost Adventures because it's kind of goofy, and you don't have to watch the episodes in order, and as you can see, I have not. And X-Files is my new binge watch, so I haven't started doing that yet, but I will. On the other side of my TV to watch tracker is my Shark Week tracker. Like I said, I started off life as a woman, so I do have standard female plumbing. I need to keep track of this stuff. It sucks, but that's the way it is, and this is just the easiest way. Next up, we have my books to read. My wife and I decided that we wanted to start reading again because we're both huge voracious readers, or we were anyways. So we're bringing back the Book It program, which if you don't know what Book It is, it was a program joint between schools and Pizza Hut where if you read 5 books, then you would get a free personal pan pizza, and this was for elementary school kids. So because we're adults who have money, we're going to buy ourselves a personal pan pizza, but we have to read 5 books first. So again, this is just really simple. I did it up in Excel. These are all the books that I plan to read, and then I have some blanks for stuff that I have not planned. As you can see, I'm really big into sci-fi by all the Asimov and Heinlein. On the other side of my books to read is my cleaning schedule. Like I said, I have a really bad memory, so I do need to schedule out everything. I used to have this called chores, but I don't really like calling it chores because that sounds like something you'd make a teenager do, and I'm a grown-ass adult who lives in this house and should take some responsibility for how clean it is. So it's just really basic. My dailies, what I need to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend. I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 pretty much. So the weekend is when I get the house taken care of. Sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday. I'm filming this video on a Sunday, so I have about half of this list left to do. I probably should have done this list before doing this video, but yeah, sometimes priorities, man. Priorities. So on the daily, I will be transferring these tasks over into my weekly because, like I said, I need to have it all laid out for me. So then we're going to go right into the weeklies. I'm going to flip to the back, and some of you may be wondering what this is. These are 2 folders that I made. I made them very simply out of a file folder, a little bit of glue. So if you look, this is a file folder. This is just a printed out nice thing I found on Pinterest, which is glued to the back of it. And then because this file folder is too thick for the Manby punch, I had to use a regular hole punch and then cut out the lines along the grid. So these are just 2 cute little folders. I'm going to throw them one in the back here. And I use these to hold on to receipts, random little notes, pieces of paper. I'm going to throw one here in front of this section. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do after the weeklies and the monthlies is, first I'm going to show you what I've been doing so far. So this is this week, and you can see that I've been trying to meal track here, but that's not a whole lot of space, and I mean, one of the reasons that I switched to the mini is because it's smaller, but also being smaller means less stuff to write. So what I did was I actually made up my own printables for a food log based on the Manby fitness tracker. But again, these are my own printables. So for printables, I recommend that you use a slightly heavier paper stock. This is 32-pound paper. It's really easy. I do up my templates on Excel or in Word. Word is great now because you can do a lot of stuff with making sure everything's the right size, everything prints properly. I love that the mini, I can get 2 pages on a 1 letter size page. That's great. And you know, it's cheap. Even if you went to somewhere like Staples and got them printed, which is a really good option, you're looking at pennies a page. A little bit more if you want to upgrade the paper type, which I do recommend just because it's nicer to write on. These ones I printed off, and then I did take them to Staples to use their paper cutter, which just gets a lot nice clean lines rather than sitting here with a pair of scissors. Also, it's a lot faster. But again, if you do decide to print stuff off at Staples, then you can get them to cut it for you, and it's usually fairly cheap as well. Okay, so this is my food log. I just decorated with a few of the Manby stickers. Really simple notes: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then my meals down the side here. So I printed off enough for 20 weeks. So if I stick with this, it'll be great. And then I'll just print off some more because I did save the template. Always save your templates, because if you don't and then you need them again. And just remember when you are printing off a template that you have to leave 3/8 of an inch along the inside edge so that you can punch it. I got the Manby punch as part of the same giveaway where I got this mini planner, which was great because it's so much more convenient. But if you don't have the money for that, you can definitely do it with a regular hole punch. You just have to be a little bit careful to make sure that you're punching what you want to punch. You just need a page from your planner to use as a guide. What I did was I laid a page of the planner down and then I traced out each of the little mushrooms, hole punched over the head of the mushroom, and then used scissors to cut down the lines. And I did that quite a lot before I got my Mambi punch. Like I said, I'm cheap. I don't like paying a lot of money for stuff. Oh, this is looking nice and chunky already. I'm so happy. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna throw in here, actually the last thing before we do next week's plan with me, is gonna be some, that's a lie, there's two things. Okay, so you saw on my chore schedule that the weekends are quite heavy when it comes to what I need to get done around the house. Bigger than the box, and I want to leave room to be able to throw in tasks as they come up. So for example, this weekend I've got to hang a bunch of hooks, and I want to be able to write that into my planner without having to use a ton of sticky notes. So what I did was I actually made up these little lists. You can see this is my weekend chore list. It's just everything that I need to do on the weekly basis. I'm going to throw the blank ones in the back here. I've got a little bit of dot graph paper printed on the back in case I need to do more notes. And I'll just pull one of these out every week and throw it in there. So next up, we've got our blank paper. I print my own dot grid paper. There's a great website, I will link it in the description below, called Printable Paper. And you can basically just choose what size dot grid lines, graph paper, knitting graph paper, hexadecimal paper, all kinds of stuff. I went with the 3.33 millimeter dot grid, which is actually slightly too small. I kind of overcompensated for how small the mini was going to be. So I'd probably go with 5 millimeter next time I print off a batch, but I'm going to use up this first. So yeah, so this is just a bunch of dot grid paper. I can throw it in wherever I need it. It's great for those bullet journal type stuff. I mean, I'm going to do a weight loss tracker and I will hand draw those out here probably. You'll notice that my Shark Week tracker was done on this. I don't like printing double-sided a lot of the printables. I did it for the food log and you'll see that they didn't quite line up. Getting them to line up is a bitch and a half. So I avoid doing it as much as I can. We've also got, oh, here's some more dot grid paper. I made a lot of this. I kind of forgot that doing a page on the printer was going to be twice as much paper, so I ended up with a lot. The ARC note papers, these are fantastic. They're also quite affordable. You get a big pack of 3 pads for $5 or $6, I think. They are from Staples, the ARC line. And next, when I was in high school, there was this little place in the mall that sold a bunch of Japanese stationery, and one of the things that they sold were these little tiny refillable notebooks. And I bought a ton of paper for them. So these are the little papers for the refillable notebooks. You can see that they were originally hole punched, and I just punched them with the Mambi punch. These make great, adorable, cute notes. And they're smaller, so I can just throw them in when I need them. The last thing we are going to put in this is a ruler. So this was originally a daytimer ruler. It was longer and it was punched to fit into the daytimer, and I cut it up a few times and then punched it with my Mambi punch. So I actually use this as not only a ruler but also as a page marker for letting me know what week I'm on. Hello, May. Alright, you can see here again I tried to do the food log. This is this week. We went to see Avengers last night and we had pizza, so I just got a little bit fun with stickers. And this is next week, and I realized that this video is already 20 minutes long, so I'm actually going to stop it here, and we are going to do next week's plan with me as a separate video, which is cool and exciting, and it means that we have more videos. So if you like this, if you want to see more from me, hear more from me, please let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe. Yeah, and that's it. And I will see you guys again probably tomorrow or whenever I post this plan with me. So have a good one.